Morning, everyone. Good to see you, Ultronymous. Good to see you in the chat this morning. I usually don't like to have a shirt on my chair, but this is the shirt I'm going to wear for work. Just a nice collared button-up shirt. But good morning and happy Friday. It is Friday. Yes, that means this weekend I can find blocks of time to play some games. Really excited about that. But I've had a very interesting gaming week too, so we can cover that. But I want to give another shout out to Ultronymous. He's been helping me. If you're interested, GundamExplained.com. If you're into Gundam, I have a whole system for tracking the shows, the games, creating your own profile, your own place to talk Gundam. He's been helping me beta test that. Head to GundamExplained.com if you're interested. It requires being a YouTube member on that channel, but I'm thinking of maybe incorporating a way to just donate there because this is something I want to do actually for gaming soon. I want to have I don't know how many details I should get into right now, but basically this stuff costs money, so like hosting and then the coding. But anyway, that's for another time, but that's just been an exciting part of this week. Hey, JamKLX in the house. I think we're ready to get going. So let me just quickly jump into what I've been playing this week. It's been pretty fun because I, found out, I was finishing Gundam Battle Assault, found out that there was a game that came out before that called Gundam Battle Master, but only in Japan. So I played that on the Gundam Explained show Thursday, the Gundam Explained morning show and the Gundam Explained show. And I beat it, with one character, but beat the last boss. And, what's cool about retro achievements and exophase is you get the little star on the games that you've completed or beat. I think there's a difference between completing and beating. And I think beating is completely valid. You don't need to complete the game to beat it. If it has like hey, just go through the story mode and you beat it. I mean, that's just as noteworthy as completing. But completing is just fun because it shows how much that game was enjoyable to people. Like 007 First Light. I beat it, but I'm now trying to complete. Yeah, it says I'm 77% completed with it. It's a great game. But also earlier this week with that Nintendo Direct, I tell you, it's interesting when I see people that I know. So like, there's that one aspect, that social, parasocial aspect where you could be like, oh, people are lying, they're saying bad stuff about it. But I try to just frame it around people that I follow, that I trust their opinions. And it's interesting, a lot of people saying they thought Nintendo's Direct was lame. It didn't have a spark. And I thought Nintendo's Direct was absolutely banger. Like, maybe there wasn't a Mario, I get that. But Star Fox demo, all the Xenoblade stuff, the Miramasa, and even, and I spoke on this, the Kingdom Hearts stuff. I don't even really care about Kingdom Hearts. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, but I feel like that's a big deal. And that's all cool. So, but anyway, let's see. I then jumped. So one of the announcements for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition was getting that Switch 2 upgrade for 4K 60 and the mounts, which is crazy. And I'm actually going to show you guys that here in a second. I played a little bit yesterday, and it's crazy that they added this in a game that came out originally 2009, and then got a port on 3DS, and they got the Switch version, and now a definitive. It just shows that these games span time, and I love games that do that. So I think it's really cool. And it's one of those things with Xenoblade Chronicles. It's like, I wish I had played the game when it first came out because it is incredible. But like I said, it spans time. Like I'm playing it today, and it's just as enjoyable with talking about it with people online. And it's interesting how I've even noticed in the online Xenoblade space, I think because maybe in terms of Western people that talk online about Xenoblade, it's a smaller circle. People are generally just more excited and positive about that series. I don't see people trashing it. So it's really nice. But the other crazy thing too is, and this is stuff that's been rumored, and this is something also that I'm picking up on my own, as when I played Xenoblade Chronicles and I realized how much this was a proto Breath of the Wild. Apparently the new Zelda being made Monolith Soft is one of the primary devs on it, and probably for technical reasons. It reminds me of like the Star Fox situation. It's not even being developed by a Nintendo developer, but Nintendo probably is producing it hands-on. Like, hey, yeah, it's like AI. It's like you take care of the technical stuff, and I'll just make it look good. That's really what's going on. Let's see. What else to talk about? That's about it. Because again, during the week, I only get little smidgets of time to play. Check out the Gundam Explained show from yesterday to see me beat the last boss. It was pretty fun because at first I was getting destroyed, and I'm like, "That's it, guys." And then like I locked in near the end and realized how I had to like kind of dodge, and yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, is that it? Is that really it for what I've been playing? Yeah, I can't wait this weekend play a little bit more. And I didn't jump back into Resident Evil. I might have talked about it. Yeah, because today's the 12th. I might have talked about it already on Wednesday, how it's like not as interesting as I thought it was going to be, with the production value of it almost tricking me into really thinking it's amazing. But I want to play it some more because it could open up a bit more. Okay. I want to show something else I have created. So it's spawned by this tweet. This guy Reese Kiwi Talks. He does interviews with game developers, and I think it's great because he provides a source of inside information that we normally don't get. But sometimes, his takes, everyone has takes. I have bad takes. He says, "This is why I tell game devs you only have job security at Valve and Nintendo. That's it." And because apparently Xbox is planning significant layoffs. But I think it's a little more obvious than that. Valve and Nintendo, and I've talked about this before, Valve and Nintendo are video game companies. Sony and Microsoft are not video game companies. They just happen to have a division to capture a market. So because they're coming at it from that, as much as I like Microsoft, or Xbox, I should say, like in terms of, yeah, even Microsoft, like, everyone talked about all the corporation, blah, blah, blah. But there's so much, while Microsoft has to kind of feed that need, they're also like, well, let's see what we can do for the consumer. Here's some, at-home online play. Here's backwards compatibility. Here's 4 control ports and a hard drive, revolutionizing things the way Nintendo would do. But I came up with a little timeline here where it's like you can see friction points in the video game industry, and it's all caused by Sony and Microsoft. So, when the PlayStation first came out, it used market capture tactics that most video game companies that were video games first and only couldn't have because they weren't big enough. Sony was a consumer electronics media company. So it's like Microsoft is able to survive the red ring of death because they have other things going on. Let's say it was a company like Sega that had the red ring of death. They would be done, but also they probably would have made sure they didn't have a red ring of death. And then you get into the later part of the 90s into early 2000s where Dreamcast is killed by the PS2 hype for multiple reasons. One was that it had EA was more wanting to jump on the PlayStation bandwagon because of that market capture, and that messed up Sega in the Dreamcast. But then also Sony mandated that certain places that carried their titles, or certain places that carried their consumer electronics, non-gaming, had to carry their game. They're like, oh, if you want, I remember like companies like Circuit City, which are no longer around, were told by Sony, if you want to carry our consumer electronics, you also have to start carrying our video games. Circuit City originally wasn't carrying video games. So you see where that caused some issues, right? On top of that was certain outlets too. Sony mandated that if they wanted to carry their product, the PlayStation products, it had to, in storefronts, overtake the Sega portion of it. So these are like marketing tactics these bigger companies would always use. And then we get Microsoft launching. Now, I love that the Xbox came out. It actually did a couple things, but it's almost like the devil's in the details. It helped pick up where the Dreamcast left off. This is where I said Microsoft is more consumer friendly. It had the 4 control ports. It had the built-in hard drive, modem, online play. It was trying to do everything Dreamcast was doing. But it was also doing it with the marketing tactics it could afford to do to position itself as more than just a video game console. And it had that DVD add-on and everything. And that's the same thing with the PS2 and its DVD add-on. Like, people at that time wanted a DVD player. It didn't matter if you were a gamer, so it skewed what it seemed like the gaming market was. Okay, so that's just another issue. And then even with the Xbox Live Gold multiplayer paywall, as much as I loved that Xbox Live Gold and all that was happening, that created another thing where it's like, oh, video game companies can start charging for things. And then we have the PS3 launch. This is when video game consoles, I guess, in the mainstream, more of a mainstream console becomes like super expensive. I know the 3DO was super expensive back then, but that was like enthusiast during a time where there was still access to lesser powerful consoles, but also the 3DO didn't fully capture with their game library. So then you have where there's this developer crisis because also the PS3 was very difficult to develop for. So this is where then, because PlayStation is a mainstream thing, this allowed Epic's engine to sort of surface to be more utilized and more useful. And then there is remember that period with the online pass? You'd buy a game and then you'd pay $15 for the online pass. That was the thing that had to exist because they were seeing, and this was EA. Again, EA siding with how Sony is doing their marketing tactics. And Microsoft as well. And then the Xbox One always online DRM and the Revolt. So this is a very interesting thing that I'll always remember. When the Xbox One was announced and it came with the Kinect and all that, there were some, there was some anti-consumer direction that the video game industry was going. And I guess anti-consumer is for the time. Nowadays, people easily or readily accept, I can just download a game, stream a game, that's fine. But Microsoft was actually trying to implement a system to where you could return or sell that digital code. But the public wasn't ready for it. The mainstream wasn't ready for it. I think Microsoft had good intentions, but pushed it a little too early. And then we get into the loot box and live service. These big companies are the ones that are leading the pack. They're all in on this stuff. The Activision Blizzard acquisition. It probably had to happen. Activision was going to break apart anyway, because Activision was an example of a video game first company that was riding the wave of the mainstream in tactics that Sony and Microsoft used, which isn't sustainable because Activision is only a video game company. So Microsoft comes in and sweeps them up. It could have been anyone. So it's like that one. Wait, I don't think it's scrolling that far down for you guys. You're just gonna have to. There, I can click a thing on the side. Isn't that awesome? Claude put this together for me, and it explains all that. And then below that, and it's hard to see, is the mass layoff cycle from 2022 to 2025. It's just constant layoffs and layoffs and layoffs, and this is why, like, I buy PlayStation stuff, but I've always kept, in my opinion, PlayStation as that evil. And I don't even want to say a necessary evil, because I don't think anything PlayStation has ever done has been necessary for the industry. And people might think that's crazy. There are amazing games that have only come out on PlayStation, but I think they would have existed elsewhere. But PlayStation came in not because they wanted to be a gaming company, but because they wanted to capture a market. And so I would say a lot of the reason the video game industry is the way it is because of Sony PlayStation. That's my take on it. That's why I've always kind of felt this underlying. I'm not a big Sony fan. And I think you can kind of see it with the games they're making, those super prestige cinematic games that are now not making them money, but cost a whole lot and then cost layoffs. It's all there. It's very interesting. Anyway, so it's just, when that came up, I was like, I think it's deeper than that. And it's not that the job security is just at Valve and Nintendo. There's going to be issues there. It's just it's in any sector, any industry, you have to look at what a certain company market share is, and that usually can give you an understanding or an idea. And I think that's why I've been successful in my line of work, which has been like IT consulting, because it's not spread thin across different verticals. It's very strictly in, especially mine's always been around Microsoft technology. So understanding the Microsoft security technologies in enterprise, and that's a very, it's a big deal, but it's a very narrow field. Narrow, is narrow the right word? It's a unlateralized. I don't know what I'm trying to say actually. It's the opposite of when I'm talking about the video game industry, where Nintendo is just video games. I am just IT consulting. Whereas Microsoft is like, well, we have software that we make, but we also make video games. It's very interesting. Let's see, go into chat, because I sometimes I get so excited and I talk, I don't look at chat. Let's see. Oh yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Let's see. Jim Kelly saying, it used to be a big deal for me, but it took way too long to come out with Kingdom Hearts 3. The gameplay didn't feel right and turned me off, and story fell flat hard. Yeah, I will say after the third one, people didn't seem to be as excited as before. I just never really connected that. But the fourth might fix that, Oh yeah, Ultronymous even saying, yeah, the story was rough. Interesting. Ultronymous also saying Sony played the mob boss card. That is a really good way to put it. Jim Killex, the fact that it was DVD player helped. Yes. On top of Dreamcast having terrible piracy measures. Yeah, it was the perfect storm for a corporation like Sony to just swoop in and take over, unfortunately. Jim Killex, I actually remember Circuit City having PC games and disc-based console games in the mid PS1 era as a kid. Doom and Brave Fencer Musashi, to be specific. Yeah, that was true. They would have the PC games, and then I think the console the console gaming wasn't their thing, but with Sony, with PlayStation, it became that. That always online and console locking physical games, so you couldn't just lend or play borrowed or use games was a gunshot. Yeah, exactly. I think you guys are getting what I'm saying here. It's like we've kind of went through these things where, even with our back at that time, I was following the video game industry, but I wasn't, what's the word? I wasn't trying to analyze it for then think pieces and discussions online. So I wasn't really looking at it as deeply as, this is odd, Yeah. So, that is that. I'm going to refine this a bit more. I really like this because I want to share it with people, for people to be like, look, this is, if you want to know the real issue behind the video game hobby, it's when the big players came in just for the market share. So, and you know what? That's actually it. I don't have much more news stuff because I'm trying to think of anything newsworthy came about. And it could be. I think we covered it because earlier in the week, from last weekend, all of the news from the Summer Games Fest. So I want to show you guys something that I think is crazy. And I'm glad it happened. And that was FromSoft? Monolith Soft. Adding this like racing thing. Okay, so here I am in... Can I hear it? Yeah. So, the 4K 60 of Xenoblade Chronicles. So, I played this for the first time, in January, and beat it? Or December. I think it was January. And it was an incredible game. Even with the 30 FPS, and I don't normally play JRPGs, I love what they did. So, I missed out on playing through it in 4K 60, but there's actually probably, I've put, what, 40 hours into this game? There's probably another 40 hours of content that I could. So here's what they've done. They've added mounts. Look at this. Look at this. So with your team at any time, and this wasn't in the original game. Okay, I've never fallen that far. Like, and then it has a boost. And while it wears down, if you pick up items on the ground, it then, there you go. It builds up the boost, so you can boost around for a long time. The left trigger is a brake. Weird controls, you could change them, but I just want to go with what they are doing by default. But left trigger to brake and to go backwards. B is accelerate. And remember, on the Nintendo controllers, B is south. And then A, which is east. Let's see. I don't know if I can actually fight that guy, to be honest. Let me get away just in case. And then, because I want to say this guy's like, I think we're 70. Yeah, and he's 81. And actually, let's just try it. I haven't fought in a long time. I mean, I could get myself destroyed here unknowingly. It's been a while, so I forget what my moves would normally be. But I think we're doing okay. Yeah, and there's like certain combos, and to be honest, I forget what they are. Yeah, like I have no... Oh, there we go. I totally forget. There we go. I forget what I should follow up with. Again, it's been a while, and there's usually like normal combos that you want to do. Still not halfway, almost there though. Nice.
Here we go. Take this. Keep it coming.
My turn. Run, don't mess up.
Go. Come on. Beat. Yeah, well.
Man, still not dead. It's not suffering break.
I know I can.
Me too, Fiora.
Wait, where's my oh, wrong button. I am looking for a certain move, and I do not remember what it is. Obviously, this wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's use your fin funnels.
Right.
Hell yeah.
That was great, guys.
Nicely done.
Oh, and you know what else? I got that Shulk amiibo, and I'm able to get every day. Let's see if. Hold on. Let me see if I could get it. Hold on one second. So I did this yesterday, but I don't know if it's a 24-hour thing or within a... Okay. Let me try it again. Last night I got XP, like everyone leveled up. just with my Shulk amiibo. Okay. Okay. So it's not a 24-hour period, but like within a business day? I don't know. Okay. I've got time to show you guys something else. So if you go to this screen, at the top, you press Y, and then it's got these different races you can do, and they're pretty hard. Well, it's not that they're hard, it's just you might come across something and then you mess up and then you're like, okay, well,
Let's do this.
I'd have to start over again. Ooh, Grand United Xenotheory. I guess the idea that the fourth could be like the first story and it unites everything. Oh, the Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Met your match.
I don't think there's like a starting bonus. Maybe. But like, it's almost, it reminds me in a way of, what are those games? Burnout? Where it's like you hold down the boost and as long as you get the crystals, you can constantly boost. But it's just crazy that Xenoblade's like, we're just gonna add racing to a game that came out in 2009. I'm down. As you can see, it's kind of like weird, like it's not real. Oh my! Oh no, I'm stuck. There's not really like a path. It's just these random arcs that are they're like circles. See, like that guy's like going the other way. Like, am I doing something wrong?
Push it. Nice. I'm making good time.
Oh. Oh no, this is gonna be tough. I bet. I mean, yeah, I could fall if I'm not careful. I did that on another map. It's like easy to fall and then like you're pretty much just done. You can reset, but by then everyone's ahead of you and there's no catching up. So it's not like this has been optimized well, but it's just kind of cool that they added it.
Nice.
What? Did I? Oh no. Yeah, thanks. Oh, I can't go down that way? Oh. No, people.
I'm putting it in reverse.
You see how wacky this is? I can't even go. I thought I was gonna fall off this, and I can't. I'm already. You see how confusing this gets, and it's like, I'm done. Like if I hit reset.
Nice.
Oh, I wanted to go down here. Okay, well.
Push it.
You do, like, yeah, if you memorize how the maps work, I could probably go back through and... It makes you feel bad when you... when you're not in first place.
I'll get it next time. I clearly didn't put in the effort.
Like, people are booing at me. It's like, please, that was my first time. Oh, no, I didn't want to retry. But anyway, isn't that interesting that they added this? It's like, it has no... I mean, you do get, like, special items. But nothing substantial, but I don't know, it's just kind of cool that they added that in. Let's see. Yeah, Jim Killex, how all the Xeno games are actually connected in some way, even though Xenogears is owned by Square Enix and Xenosaga most by Bandai Namco. They were, more than just Xenoblade. I see what you're saying, Jim Killex. More than just Xenoblade. The Xenosaga and Xenogears. And there might be something that comes of that in the future. To, Nintendo could... Like, Monolith Soft is doing so much for Nintendo. I could see Nintendo purchasing or doing something with licensing for that. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. That was a lot of fun. I'll be back next week with some more. So, have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And we'll talk later. See y'all.